Richard Okafor was born in 1970 in Enugu State. His childhood was modest, his parents struggling to provide. But Richard had one thing no one could deny: ambition. At 19, he graduated from high school and landed a job in a multinational oil company. The young Richard was relentless, working long hours, studying financial reports and absorbing knowledge. His colleagues nicknamed him the Golden Boy because of his rapid promotions. By 28, he broke away to start his own logistics and construction company. Against all odds, his empire thrived. By 40, he was already one of the wealthiest men in West Africa. By 55, he had amassed unimaginable wealth. He owns private jets, palatial homes in London, Dubai, and Lagos, and fleets of exotic cars. Yet, behind the success was an obsession he hid from everyone: the fear of death. He had seen powerful men fall, business rivals poisoned, politicians struck by strange illnesses. Richard swore he would never be cut down before his time. Richard was married to Amara Okafor, 50, his childhood sweetheart. She was the pillar of the family, gentle yet firm. Together they had 3 children: Michael, 28, the heir apparent, ambitious but impatient; Daniel, 24, the rebel, an artist who despised the corporate world; Sophia, 20, the apple of his eye, a university student full of innocence. To the world, Richard was a devoted father and husband. He lavished gifts on his family, never missing birthdays or anniversaries. But at night, lying awake, he was haunted by one question: what good is wealth if death can snatch him away time? One evening, over expensive whiskey, Richard confided in his old friend, Victor Nagy, 57. Victor was a shady businessman, known for mingling with herbalists and traditional priests. Richard trusted him. Victor leaned close, lowering his voice as though demons might be listening. There is a way to protect yourself. If you sleep with a mad woman, no witchcraft will touch you. No man can harm you. Your life will be long, Richard froze. At first he laughed, but as the days passed, Victor's words sank deeper. Could immortality really lie in such a bizarre ritual? In developed cities, mad women were rarely seen. Richard knew he had to search the villages, the forgotten places. For 6 relentless weeks, he drove to remote towns under disguise, desperately searching. Finally, he found her, Ngozi, 32. Once beautiful, she was now a shadow of herself, disheveled, barefoot, muttering to unseen figures. She lived by the roadside of a sleepy village. Richard began to bring her food daily. Slowly, Ngozi recognized him as the man with bread and meat. She laughed at him, sometimes ran away, but eventually she trusted him enough to sit by his car. Then, one moonless night, Richard drove her deep into the bush. What happened there was not love, not passion. It was desperation, shame, and sin. When it was over, Richard gave her money and food, dropping her near her roadside shelter. He drove home believing he had conquered death itself. Weeks passed. Richard returned to his life of luxury, confident he was untouchable. But whispers began. Ngozi was pregnant. The villagers were outraged. A mentally ill woman carrying a child. Who was responsible? They rushed her to a mental health facility in Enugu City, where doctors began her treatment. Under medication, Ngozi regained fleeting clarity. And in those lucid moments, she remembered him. The rich man, the shiny car, the piercing eyes. When the police questioned her, she described Richard in chilling detail. A sketch artist pieced it together, and soon a portrait of the billionaire appeared. The police moved fast. News spread like wildfire. Billionaire Richard Okafor arrested for defiling mentally ill woman. Cameras flashed as Richard, once untouchable, was led in handcuffs. In court, his empire trembled. Amara sat pale and broken. Michael clenched his fists in silent rage. Daniel shouted curses, his disgust boiling over. And Sophia, sweet Sophia, hid her face, unable to bear the shame. Ngozi gave birth to a baby girl. In a controversial judgment, the court ruled Richard guilty, but handed down a lenient sentence: 3 months imprisonment or a fine of $5,000. The judge insisted he must remain free to care for mother and child. Richard paid the fine and walked out a free man. But freedom was an illusion. His investors abandoned him. Business partners cut ties. Politicians who once begged for his presence now avoided him like plague. His family's love grew cold. Even Amara, who once adored him, slept in a separate wing of the mansion. Everywhere Richard went, whispers followed. His empire, built over 3 decades, began to crumble, not from competition, but from shame. And in the end, Richard realized the cruelest truth of all. In trying to conquer death, he had destroyed his life.